Let's be honest here. America's Next Top Model did not age well, but it was a reflection of the times. Watching Reality Check Inside America's Next Top Model, the documentary on Netflix, as an adult and as a licensed therapist gave me a completely different picture than when I watched it when I was 15 and 16 years old. There's some things that I want to talk to you about as a licensed therapist, but also I want to give my personal opinion about this at the end of this video, so make sure to stay tuned for that too. Before we get into it, I need for you to put in the comment section, what did you think about this documentary? Will be spoilers in this video, so go on over and binge watch it if you haven't, but it's 3 episodes long, and then come back because we got a lot to talk about. The first thing that I want to talk to you about is how I feel that Tyra Banks had good intentions when she initially started ANTM. I mean, think about it. To create a show in your head and see it to fruition is pretty dope, but she was disrupting a lot of the beauty standards and the weight standards in the fashion industry alone. She even dropped in 2 queer men, and that wasn't even a thing back then. Miss J and Mr. J. I believe she had good intentions to start with, at least for the first 1 to 2, maybe even 3 seasons. She really was trying to disrupt the beauty standards in regards to facial expressions and facial features and height and weight and ethnicity and all of these things that happen to be in the modeling industry. But after about 2 to 3 seasons, I think all of that got lost in translation. It's interesting because you would think that all of the things that she went through in this industry, based off of her weight, based off of her head size, based off that's no shade, that's no shade. Before, she talked about how people would say like she has a big head. So anywho, but based off of all of the things that she experienced, right, in the industry for herself, you would think that she wouldn't want to impose or superimpose those same standards on the girls and the models that were on this show. But she did, essentially. Doing the very thing that people did to her in a roundabout way. The second thing is that this show grew so quickly, so rapidly, that I don't even think they anticipated it to be this popping. One thing that I do know is that when something grows extremely fast or extremely quickly, sometimes the morals and the ethics and the privacy and the confidentiality and the values and the belief system don't always go neck and neck. It was like this show, the production company, the network, forgot that these were real girls with real lives and real problems and real trauma and real issues. Like, these women had real jobs that they left to come and audition and be on this show. And nobody, and I mean nobody, prepared them for the impact or the lack of impact from this show. They were just young, impressionable young ladies, some of them fresh out of high school, and they didn't have a clue of what to expect. They just knew that they were going to be on a TV show, and it was cracking in the moment, at least. I think it wouldn't have been so bad if they would have kept the energy of like, hey, I just want to show the world what happens behind the scenes of models. But they took it extreme, to the real extreme, when they started curating all of these man-made shoots, and the shoots got more ridiculous and more outrageous as the seasons and the cycles went on. Doing photo shoots based on real dangers, their own personal fears, some of their personal stories. You're doing shoots about violence and people dying and, you know, substance use and changing people's races twice. Having people wear meat on their bodies when they're vegan or vegetarian. Like, all of this was just wild. Yes, when you are creating a television show, you want things to be a little controversial because you know that's when people are going to tune in. You know you got to have some type of raw element to it, right? Because nobody else is going to watch it if it's just so wholesome and cute and perfect. They had to up the ante every single time for every single cycle, and that's why things got more crazy and also more out of control. Before we move on, it has come to my attention that only about 4 to 5% of you guys who watch my videos are subscribed to my channel. So that means y'all watch, kiki with me in the comment, and do all of these things every single time, but y'all forget to subscribe. So go ahead and do that for me right now. Subscribe, hit the notification button, because that does help me to create videos, especially these review videos like this for you every single week. But let's get back to it. The exploitation and the abuse, let's call it what it is. It's abuse, y'all, that these women experienced was insanity. I'm sure there were so many more that they didn't show or wasn't a part of this documentary, but specifically Shandy and Tiffany and Danielle and all of these women who experienced Tyra yelling at them, who basically was sexually assaulted inappropriately on camera and nobody did anything about it. Like, I felt horrible for Shandy, and I know on the outside looking in, it just looked like, oh yeah, a girl was having some fun and she cheated on her boyfriend. But at some point, if she was extremely intoxicated and she's laying on that bed and she's not moving and she's blacking out, going in and out of consciousness, there wasn't somebody who was recording, shooting, or the production staff to say, hold on, something ain't right, girl. Are you okay? Y'all are catching moments of this man on top of her and nobody did anything about it. And then decided to record the aftermath of her breaking down, of her having to tell her boyfriend about what went down. All of those things, those were very private moments. You might be saying, well, Kiaundra, this is what they signed up for. They knew they were gonna be on a reality TV show. Let me tell you one thing about reality TV shows. I've shared with you guys that I have been on reality TV shows as an expert previously. And when you sign up to be on a reality TV show, especially one like this, you don't get the full story of like, in this episode, you guys are going to do this. And in this shoot, you guys are going to do this. You don't know until you get there in the moment. These girls had no clue about what they were going to encounter on a day-to-day basis. They just knew that their whole lives were going to be filmed and nothing was off limits. That's the sad part for me, because this is where you lose the humanity. Where was the laws and the ethics and the privacy and the confidentiality? Where were the lines that were drawn that says, hold on, y'all, we cut the cameras off. This is not for public consumption. But no, when you want that storyline, when you want that plot, you want the views, you want the ratings, you want to get renewed for an additional season, you're willing to do anything at any cost and at anyone's expense. You can tell that every last woman needed therapy. I know that it wasn't common then, 23, 24 plus years ago. It wasn't common for therapists and experts to be on the show. Like, they literally brought in a intuitive expert. She was like some psychic. I was like, no, these girls need a therapist on set. Like, what are you guys doing? As you can tell, when they were recanting their story, they were visibly still impacted by this. It was triggering all over again to show them what went down, to tell them what went down, like to get their perspective of what happened in that moment. They were still triggered by this. There's no real apology ever given from Tyra. This is why I am a huge, huge advocate for on-set therapists and mental health experts, and also aftercare as well. Once they got booted off the show and they just went to a hotel and just stayed there with no phone, no contact, they couldn't do anything. They were basically just left to themselves. That's not okay. That's when they needed someone to step in and say, hey, let's talk through this. Let's talk through this. Let's see what your life is gonna look like when you're going back to the real world. Let's transition you as much as possible in a healthy manner, in a healthy way. Because it seems like they had resources. Remember, I can't even remember her name, but I think it was Tiffany, right? They said, oh, we got her anger management. So there was a budget, for some additional resources, but they weren't utilized appropriately. This is why if any type of production company or network needs some type of aftercare that's from a licensed clinician, I'll be happy to do it. Bring me on again. I would love to do this. It shows that nobody was off limits. Not Nigel, not Miss J, not Mr. J. The way that those three got done dirty and were basically kicked off the show, and I was blown away. I didn't know that it went down like that. If you claim to be so close and these are my buddies and I love them and we've been doing this for seasons upon seasons and these were my besties and I stayed at their house and we laid in the bed together and we did all of these fun things, why weren't you close enough to at least have a real conversation with them to say, hey, this didn't come from me. I want to keep things on the show, but this is coming from my boss. The fact that Tyra didn't want to have a conversation with Mr. J when he made attempts, and even when he wanted to leave the show on his own accord, she didn't want to talk to him. She just said, oh, I'm just so disappointed. What type of friendship is this? From my perspective, the way that the story was being told on this documentary, there seems to be no closure still to this day. Like, y'all haven't talked in 20-something plus years specifically about this and how it went down to clear the air. It seems like the only reason why they're back together, back close, back hanging out, or back making attempts is because Miss J had a stroke. When somebody experiences something that is life-threatening, it changes the dynamics of everything. And I think Tyra probably has a little bit of guilt. That's why she texts Miss J saying, oh, I'm gonna come see you. And he's like, it ain't happened yet. We gonna see. Because she had some guilt about how things went down. Can you imagine things from his perspective? Your whole world is built on how you walk. Your whole world is built on your quirky language and the funny things that you say and your facial expressions. And now you have a stroke and you're not able to do any of those things. You're not able to walk or talk. That obviously impacts your facial movements. Like, I can't even imagine what Miss J is experiencing, and it broke my heart to know that this is where he is currently. Looks like he's getting better day by day, but wow, what does that do to someone's career and their self-esteem? So my final thoughts on this is that it is a dog-eat-dog world in this industry, in the TV and movie industry. If you're not familiar, trust me, don't nobody care about nobody. And this is why it matters when people still have values and belief systems and ethics and morals and things that they stand on and say, hey, this is a no around me. This can't be done. This is unacceptable. Put this in this person's contract. They can't do this. They can't expect, like, you care about people as a human being. That's when you know that you're still level grounded. But when you are not doing those things and you're just caring about the money and the ratings and who's watching, that's when things are going downhill. Seeing where all of these women are now and them saying, hey, I'm in construction, hey, I'm in theater, hey, I'm a business owner, hey, I do trauma-informed care, all of these things, it was so beautiful to see. Because I was wondering that too, you know, when they didn't have a modeling career and a lot of them weren't able to succeed because they had this stigma placed on them for being on this reality TV show. I was like, what happens next? What have they been doing all of these years? And it's great to know that a lot of them are still thriving. Now, I'm gonna say this before I get off of here. Tyra Banks bet not come out with another season. Sis, don't even waste your time. It's not going to hit the way that you think it's going to hit. The things that you were able to get away with and do 20 plus years ago in 2003, 2002, you could never get away with doing and saying in 2026 and beyond. So please do yourself a favor and do the world a favor. Go ahead and keep the next season, because we will not allow you to traumatize anybody else. So thank you so much for watching another review on my channel. Please do not hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Be blessed. Bye.